Okay. All right, so we are here today for a chat with Donna, and she is my sister from another mister because the two of us are educators. We have been in the field of education for many, many years, and we're both entrepreneurs as well. And so we are here to just have an inspiring conversation with Donna to share with you um, and to be honest on how she led herself into building a life of freedom and purpose and joy post retirement. So, we're going to talk about the power of being self-aware, of identifying silent truths that you might be kind of overlooking, and creating a plan that feels aligned with your values or what really matters most to you. So, if you've been feeling the pull for something more, then I encourage you to join us for this chat. I'm going to ask Donna to just introduce herself and just give us a little bio, so to speak, as to where she came from not too long ago and what got her into this area of being an entrepreneur.
Hi, thank you, Cindy, for inviting me today. I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to come and share. And if you're here today and you're joining us, much thanks to you for showing up for yourself today to learn more about freedom or choice, or just to explore a little bit about what's out there and what might be a good fit for you as well. As Cindy has mentioned, I'm a retired educator. Had 30 years in, but I actually retired 5 years early.
Mm.
And I did so with the intent to do some online courses for educators. And that led to some coaching and some consulting online, and continue to grow and to pivot and to morph into more and into other things. And the more I worked with teachers, I realized that finances were an issue for many of them. They were pouring their heart and soul into teaching because that's what they felt they were called to do. And yet it was hard for them to show up fully and be present every day because they were worried about paying their mortgage or buying necessities for their children's extracurricular activities. And it's really sad that it is that way for teachers, but it is. It's our reality. And many of us have side hustles. And so I was just determined to find a way to help teachers um, build in a side hustle without sacrificing a lot of time, and then maybe even growing that into something more if they choose to do so in the future. And it's just been very, very fulfilling for me because even though I retired, I felt a calling to do more, and I wasn't ready to throw in the towel by any means.
Mm. Well, I'd like for you to share with us just a moment. And I know that we're talking not only to teachers, but to other people who have a regular job career and they are looking for something they can do on the side to start out with. And I know there's several people in this group that would like to do that. And so hopefully we'll give them a little bit of insight tonight. But can you just share a moment when you first realized that something had to change and that you wanted to invest time post-retirement into doing what you're doing now? And so how did you find the courage to act on that?
That's a great question, Cindy. And looking back over my career, I feel like there were many pivotal moments, or moments that could have been pivotal for me, that I ignored or talked myself out of, or convinced myself that I wasn't ready for more, or that I shouldn't be thinking about doing more. And I guess in thinking about all those moments, if I had to summarize it, I finally got to a point where I felt like staying was costing me more than stepping into the unknown. And by costing me more, I mean my mental well being, my physical well being, my spiritual well being, my financial well being. I just had that moment of self honesty and admitting that, Donna, you love what you're doing, but it's draining you, and staying is costing you more than stepping into something that's not comfortable or that's unfamiliar and looking for additional opportunities.
Mm. And I appreciate that you're open and honest with that because I think there's so many of us in the education field and other people, other careers,
Absolutely.
that we get to that point where we're just not happy anymore. We loved what we did. We love the kids. We love our job, so to speak, or the people that we see in our career, but it's draining us, and zapping our energy. And I know that was the way it was for me. And you mentioned that you retired 5 years early, and I did the same thing. I retired early for the same reason, not because I didn't need the money, but because I needed a change. And I'm kind of a multi-passionate educator or grannypreneur. Before I finished, while I was still teaching, I started my Etsy shop in 2010. And that was one income, but that one is a lot of time. It's a time-intensive position. I love it. We have an Etsy shop. We go to craft shows. It's a lot of fun, but there's a lot of time investment in that too. And I think what got piqued my interest in what you have with your blueprint is that it is not as time intensive, and yet the people can still get in there and you know, they are able to make an income with just a few hours a day. And you've said that to me before. Now, I want you to think, and if there's some common truths, some silent truths that you see teachers or maybe other professionals that are wrestling with. You mentioned a little bit about what you wrestled with. Are there any other things that you see people wrestle with, and why you think it's so hard for people to just step into that, to admit it out loud and just try to do something different?
Mhm. And even though I'm looking at this through the lens of a teacher, this is applicable to any profession. But a big truth for teachers is I love my job. This is what I was called to do. I can't think about doing anything else. And I have to just settle and accept that things are the way they are. And that's just the way it is. And I will just muddle through and make the best of it. And another thing that I often see is feeling like teachers aren't worth reaching out and searching for more. And I think what it boils down to a lot, Cindy, is we feel like we've given our hearts and our souls to something that has been our passion, that has been so special to us for so many years, that if we step away or broaden our horizon or our opportunities, that it's a type of betrayal, maybe. We're betraying the very people that have been the whole essence of our lives. And, that's a mind shift that we have to get past. We're not betraying anyone. It's okay to grow out of something and into something new. And you're always going to be that teacher or that nurse or that
Mhm.
practitioner or therapist or whatever it is your passion has been. You're always going to be that, but you can take that skill set and you can apply it to something else that is more fulfilling for you and that is also fulfilling for, the people that you have the opportunity to share with.
Yes, and one of my things was because I had my bachelor's, I went through, got my master's. Some people even get their doctorate, and we think, wow, we put all of that time and money into a degree, and
Mhm.
you don't want to not do it. And it's interesting because when I was in college, getting my bachelor's, the we had a session on something I don't remember at the very beginning of the school of the my career there, my degree, and we had a talk, and he said that 10% of the people that graduate from this school or any school with a degree will go into something completely, I mean, only 10% will go on to do what they were trained to do. 90% of the people, they have this degree, they have this background, but they are going to end up doing something different. And it's really, and I told myself I'm going to be one of that 10% that use my degree. And I did for many, many years, but eventually, I got out of that mindset saying I had to prove something, and I even before I retired early, about 5 years before that, I changed gears. I got out of the public school and went into a charter school. I was really seeking something different. And but I was just kind of, still feeling like I needed to stay within the teaching system. And you might say that you feel a little bit like you are stuck. I shifted some, but still in the education area. And what's one simple step you think for people like me that can take that first step to start reconnecting with what really matters to them and their dreams and their desire to be able to make more money and not have to live paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah. I think for me, it was asking, what did I love doing? What was I passionate about before the world told me what I should be doing? If you can get back to you, if you can shut out that internal critic of yours that's always telling you what you should or shouldn't do, usually what you shouldn't do. We always have those saboteurs, and they're there to keep us safe. But sometimes being safe isn't necessarily being secure. And it means stepping outside of that comfort zone and trying new things and stepping into the unknown and trying things that are more non traditional, if you will, and letting go of, I have to stay on this track because that's where I invested all of my educational resources. So, really, just ask yourself that question: what did I love doing, or who was I before everything got so crazy in the world was telling me who I should be or what I should do? And, journaling helps me with that because when I sit down and I write and I just let my thoughts flow, it silences that inner critic of mine and I can block out what the world is telling me too. And I can really get back to who I am and what my values are and what's important to me.
Mm. Yeah, and so when we talk about this and what was important to you and what got you into this program that you are uh, kind of talking about, the shift that you made. Can you tell us what it is? What type of a program? I know you have a blueprint, and I know that there's, from what happened when you and I talked before, that there is just so much support for someone who wants to start right from scratch. They don't need any tech. They don't need, I mean, there's a lot of things you don't need to just move into something like this, to adopt this as something that you would like to invest your time in. And so if you want to tell us a little bit about it so that the people that are listening will know, hey, that is something I'm interested in, because they may be at a place in their life just like we were when we wanted to pivot or shift into something. And from what I understand from talking to you, it is really foolproof. So tell us all about it.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned earlier, I was on a mission to find some way to help teachers who love teaching and want to continue, but maybe needed some extra income, or maybe people who are burned out and frustrated and ready to transition into something else, or maybe even people who are retired like us or nearing retirement that
Hmm.
realize they haven't really prepared financially for that and they want to boost their pension. And I thought, you know, I think like 70 or 75% of educators have second jobs
Hmm.
or side hustles or second
Yeah.
incomes, but they're having to commit a lot of time to that. It's
Hmm.
more time
Yeah.
away from their family, and it's less time for them to have a break from school or time to spend with friends or family or relatives or whatever it is they want to do. And so I was so thrilled when I ran across the Legacy Builders program. And it's called a program, but the easiest way to describe it is it's like having a business in a box. Um, Everything is there for you. You don't have to create anything unless you want to. You know, a lot of teachers do teachers pay teachers, where they create their own products and they sell them on TPT, which is a great avenue for many teachers. But with the Legacy Builders program, the digital products are already designed and created for you. The website is done for you. The sales funnel is done for you. The one thing that you really need to focus on is learning how to market. And all of that is also done for you. Most people who start any business, whether it's online or a brick and mortar, most of them fail because they don't have the marketing skills that they need.
Hmm.
And one of the really good things about this program is it is marketing for masters. We have mentors in there that do live sessions every week and teach us different marketing strategies for social media. And you can learn and earn at the same time. A lot of programs you have to commit 3 or 4 months to learning before you ever start earning anything. With this one, you can earn right away because you can start selling products that somebody else has already designed for you. You can focus that time and energy on learning how to market. And then, honestly, I spend 2 to 3 hours a day just using attraction marketing to share the opportunity with people who are looking for, and we say financial freedom a lot, and that's important, but it's really what it really boils down to is having choice in what you do with your day, what you do with your time, what you do with your money. And so it provides a lot of just opportunity for choice, real clear blueprint, step by step. I tell people all the time, if you will be coachable, if you can follow directions, and if you're willing to step out of your comfort zone just a little bit and do what we are shown to do in this program, you can have a great little side hustle, or you can even evolve into a full income if that's what you want to do.
Well, that does sound very interesting, and I feel like we'll there'll be some people that want to connect with you
Excellent.
and get some ideas, let you share how that works. So, and I would like for you to give us that information before we get off here, how they can connect with you, and then we can put it in the comments, and we can also put it in the show notes for those of you who are watching on YouTube, maybe catching the replay. But before we do that, what is one piece of advice to your past self at the moment that you were struggling with the most? And what would you say about that self-honesty or building a life you love for the people who might be looking into something like this? And maybe it can encourage them to just take that step and connect with you.
As I mentioned earlier, just coming clean with yourself and stop. I would tell myself to stop thinking that everything is okay. Stop pretending that this is just the way things are, and you just have to accept it because you're pursuing your passion. It's okay to want more, and it's okay to reach out and try new things, and it's okay to lean on somebody else. It's okay to lean on somebody else's belief in you if you don't quite believe in yourself yet, that you can have those skills. And just to be more open-minded and to not be so um, I'm a cynical person. I'll be honest about that. And I'm very critical of myself. And, sometimes I'm just too skeptical about things. I've just learned so much since I retired because it opened so many doors and so many opportunities.
Hmm.
And I've met some amazing people from across the entire world. The networking is beyond amazing. So, I would just tell myself to be open to that, to be open to new experiences, and to stop settling for less than you are, and to really strive to be all that you can be.
Mhm. Well, that is inspiring and motivational at the same time. Um, and so I really do appreciate you taking the time to share with us. And so, how can people get in touch with you so they can learn more about the Legacy program?
I really appreciate the opportunity to share with you all. I love sharing the opportunity. If you want to email me, you can email me at Donna at the CFOteacher.com. And CFO stands for Creating Freedom Opportunities. Um, and if you want to check out the blueprint, it's free to check out the blueprint. Just go to this www.thecfoteacher.com, thecfoteacher.com, and drop your email in, and you'll get a full picture view of what the blueprint entails. And yeah, it's all there for you.
Oh, okay, that's easy enough. So what
Mhm.
I'm going to do is I'll put those links in the
Okay.
show notes here so that people have access to that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing, Donna. I really appreciate it, and it's neat to be in communication with an educator who has gone on to just continue to help serve and teach. I mean, we don't ever stop teaching, do we?
No, we don't. Well, thank you, Cindy. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor. And for those of you that are listening in today, thank you for being here. And again, I said earlier, thank you for showing up for you and for being open to new possibilities. The possibilities far outweigh any limitations that we place
There
on
you go.
ourselves.
That's for sure. All right, and thank you, everyone. If you have any
And
questions, pop them in the notes, and we will be sure to get back with you as soon as we can. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.